Merry SEOmas! Hi, it's your boy Joshy B back to give you a free basic SEO course for SEOmas. SEOmas is the Christmas of SEO. It happens whenever I do it, which is now. Yay! SEO, happy SEOmas! This video is a basic SEO course of how to, Basic Plus I call it, of on page. It's completely free. It's future-proof. It's going to help you rank in Google from 2022 and beyond. It gives you the knowledge of the artificial intelligences you need to understand to try to rank in Google today. It gives you a basic on-page method that is pretty good. It's basic, so you should be able to follow it, and it's also future-proof. This free information is being put out by Underground SEO University, which is my mentorship group that I run. So stay tuned if you want to learn more about Underground SEO University and more advanced courses in SEO, which we offer there. Stay tuned for a special SEOmas offer just for you. I'm offering a permanent discount to the group, but you don't have to listen to any of that to watch the basic stuff, the free stuff that's about to happen in just a few seconds. However, if you're curious as to just how good the Underground SEO University is, and we're very good, don't take it from me. Listen to my student testimonials I'll have at the end of the video. Of course, it's just basic stuff, and it's not our complete catalog of knowledge, but it is straight from Underground SEO University and proven by science to work. So it should be very helpful for you. This should save you thousands of dollars in SEO and make you thousands of dollars in SEO. And that's all coming up free right away. However, if you're curious and you want more, then wait to the end of the video and listen to the testimonials. Don't take it from me. Listen to my students as to how good the group is. So here we have our SEOmas freebie, our free Basic Plus SEO course. And there's two things I'll be providing you: a complete, fast, and easy on-page method. And it's totally free. You don't have to spend any money to get the method. You don't have to spend any money to do the method. It's SEO like back in the old days, completely free, completely future-proof, and I'll show you how to do the on-page in just a couple seconds. So let's get started with the freebie. Number one, the complete, fast, free, easy, free on-page method. So in my group, Underground SEO University, we have a very detailed on-page method, which has about 9 steps. This is the first step out of 9 steps from Underground SEO University. But before I give you the on-page method, you have to know what you're trying to rank in. There's 3 artificial intelligences that Google has announced and released and fully admitted they're using for on-page ranking. There's rankbrain, neural matching, and BERT. BERT is their latest transformer, like GPT-3 is a transformer as well, you might have heard of from OpenAI. So there's rankbrain, which was released in 2015. There's neural matching, which was released in 2018. And there's BERT, which was released in 2019. So let's get a little bit more in depth with these artificial intelligences, and I'll show you why and how SEO has to work in 2022 and beyond. Sadly, if you don't understand these artificial intelligences, you're not going to be able to make any headway of SEO. Any headway you make will just be pure dumb luck. But when you understand what these 3 artificial intelligences want, rankbrain, neural matching, and BERT, you can dominate the SERPs and you can understand what to do for your on-page method. So let's take a deeper look. So as I said, on-page consists of trying to impress 3 different artificial intelligences. And here's the quote directly from Google proving that they use it. Google confirmed that in 2022 that rankbrain, neural matching, and BERT are used globally across the globe in every search in all languages that Google search provides. So what is the difference between rankbrain, neural matching, and BERT? They're all artificial intelligences, but what is the difference between them? Well, rankbrain is the oldest one. It's the main ranking system. That's why it's called rankbrain. It is the main AI that you need to contend with. It was released way back in 2015. They've been using it for a very long time. It's a semantic vector machine learning algorithm. Now we know this because Google has admitted that it's a semantic vector machine learning algorithm, and we've also tested it. We've reverse engineered it. We've tested it seriously, and so we know the kind of keywords it looks for, we know the kind of things that it wants. So let's get a little bit more into detail of the kind of different queries it serves and the kind of query rewriting it likes to do. So as I said, rankbrain was released in 2015. It's a semantic vector machine learning per tag, and it works with clicks. So it's machine learning. The clicks tell rankbrain what the proper semantic vector or meaning is supposed to be. So the neat thing with rankbrain, that means that even if you don't say the words on your page, you can still rank for an EMQ. You can still rank for a certain search, even if you don't say those words on your page, because rankbrain, through clicks, watching what every user does on every Google SERP, on every page, can see where they searched for X, they clicked Y. So when you search for X, Google figures out through RankBrain you actually want Y. Or to say the same thing another way, when you search for ABC, but you click XYZ, RankBrain can tell, okay, they searched for ABC, but that little human, they actually want XYZ. And so I will send them, or XYZ for you Americans. So I will send them a page about XYZ because that is associated through semantic relationships that RankBrain can suss out and through a click relationship that is defined by the user, essentially training the machine. The user is training the machine. All of us train the machine. So it learns there's a relationship between ABC and XYZ. So how do you rank for this? Well, I'll show you a closer relationship. So there's a special query that Google has provided us with here, and it's this one here. This is a quote from Google's actual news release about RankBrain. They say, what's the title of the consumer at the highest level of the food chain? That's the special query. So that's the search. What's the title of the consumer at the highest level of the food chain? And this is how it works. Google systems learn from seeing those words, these words, on various pages that the concept of a food chain may have to do with animals in this case and not human consumers. And by understanding and matching these words to the related concepts, RankBrain helps Google understand that you're looking for what's commonly referred to as an apex predator. So people search for ABC, they search for what's the title of the consumer at the highest level of a food chain, and they get the answer XYZ, or apex predator. So that's Google's primary ranking system called RankBrain, which has been running since 2015. And you can see it's very interesting how you can search for ABC, but through a semantic relationship, that is to say a meaning relationship of meaning of words, like the meaning of baseball bat and baseball glove, or baseball bat and wooden bat, that has a relationship semantically there in terms of meaning. And also then that meaning is solidified through clicks. We can see that by searching ABC, they'll provide the answer XYZ, even if the words ABC are not on the page at all, and it's only about the answer that they're trying to give you, which is XYZ. Or in this case, what is the title of the consumer at the highest level of the food chain? And that those words are never on the page, but it's related to the words apex predator. Now, the next AI that they have that we're going to take a look at is called neural matching. Neural matching, or I call it NM for short, was released in the spring and summer of 2018 and was released in local in 2019. So you should check to see if you were hit in spring or summer 2018, or if you were hit locally, if you have a local ranking and you were hit November 2019 in local, then you might have been hit by neural matching. So let's find out how it works. Neural matching is a neural network metonym word replacement system. This is partly what Google has admitted, and partly what we've been able to test scientifically of how the system works. So it's a metonym word replacement system. So a couple of years ago, Gary Ilyish, another Google employee, said in a podcast that basically SEO is easy. All you have to do is use synonyms. Well, that was partly true. But a synonym is not exactly always correct for neural matching. The neural network can match grammar between predicate A and subject B. And in doing that, it could be even a broader relationship, which is technically called a metonym, not a synonym. Meta as in beyond, as in like the meta tags, beyond, the Greek word beyond. So a metonym, it is a word replacement system. For example, a metonym for the US government can be Washington. You know, the news could say, Washington today decided this, blah, 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 blah. So a metonym is not quite a synonym. It's broader than a synonym. So neural matching uses a neural network to determine what the proper metonyms are for any given word in their corpus, or that is to say, their index of web pages. For example, it can switch Washington for US government, or it can switch US government for Washington. Now, I hope people are realizing and noticing how advanced Google's search system is. It really is a testament to Google's ingenuity of how they've been able to create a system where you don't even need to say the words on your page and you can rank for it because you're saying the right secret keywords. And this is what you need to know. And this is a huge SEO Miss freebie I'm giving you right now, is you need to be able to find the secret keywords that Google doesn't even know. The AI knows it. The AI knows in its brain, in RankBrain or in neural matching, it knows what are you really trying to search for. And it's able to suss out with a high level degree of certainty that, oh, when you search for Washington, what did Washington put out today? Oh, you meant the US government, and it's going to give you pages of what the US government has said that day. Not because they matched the word Washington to Washington, because they matched the word Washington to US government. Now, another thing I hope you're noticing, and RankBrain works on a similar principle, but it has clicks involved. neural matching, as far as I can tell, has no clicks involved. And Google hasn't admitted that at all. Now, I hope you're also noticing a lot of the ideas in SEO right now are wrong. They're still thinking of really old technologies that Google are not using, like LSI. They're thinking of the Google NLP, the natural language processing demo from Google Cloud. They're thinking of, Keyword Genie or Surfer, or all these old, outdated SEO tools that are not being utilized. So I can save you hundreds and thousands of dollars right now. Do not use those old, outdated tools. They do not reflect how Google uses the on-page algorithms at all. Let me show you. For example, when did Google release the natural language AI, the Google Cloud? They released it November 15th, 2016. And let me show you on a Google search here, the first version of the natural language AI that so many different purported keyword tools use, that thousands of people use and think are great tools, but sadly they're mistaken. It's just all snake oil. It was released November 15th, 2016. This does not correlate with neural matching, nor does it correlate with RankBrain at all. This is not what Google is using for the Google NLP demo or any technology like it. Is a different artificial intelligence completely from RankBrain, and a different artificial intelligence completely from neural matching. And it's a different artificial intelligence completely from BERT, their bidirectional encoder representations from Transformer. That's a Transformer AI. There's a neural network AI, there's a click-based machine learning AI. So the click-based machine learning AI is RankBrain. The neural network AI run on grammatical semantic relationships to find metonym replacements. That's neural matching. That has nothing to do with, it is a natural language processor, but that's not their NLP demo. It doesn't extract entities. And BERT, which is a transformer, which is basically like GPT-3 if you've played with GPT-3. None of those technologies are the NLP demo. So don't think that using the NLP demo is going to really help you. I'm going to show you a much better way for free today. That is future-proof. I promise you. I'm going to show you a much better way today in just a couple of seconds after we learn how these artificial intelligences work, and therefore what we're trying to see with our eyes, what we're trying to look for in the tool. And so also notice that you can save hundreds or thousands of dollars by stop using these outdated and just wrong keyword tools, or any other keyword tool that is based off of this, or just guesses, or has their own proprietary way, or they use GPT-3 for a keyword tool. None of those work. Stop paying for all of them. Think of all the money you can save by not using an outdated keyword tool. So that's one of my genuine hopes of this video, that I save you money and I save you heartache for not using a fake keyword tool, which Google has fully admitted. They've fully published that they do RankBrain, neural matching, and BERT. They've fully admitted that. You can check that yourself. I'm not making that up. So if the keyword tool you're using doesn't use those three AIs, then it's going to be off base. And anytime it gets a keyword right, is just going to be pure guessing. You might as well just roll a die. You might as well roll a die and say, okay, number 1 is this word, number 3 is this word. You might as well just roll a die and throw it. They're that good. It's just pure dumb luck if you ever happen to rank in them. But how does neural matching work? What is our test keyword, or how does it seem to work? Okay, well, let me read this actual quote from Google for you. And this is in Google's language. They said, but we've now reached the point where neural networks can help us take a major leap forward from understanding words to understanding concepts. Neural embeddings, an approach developed in the field of neural networks, allow us to transform words to fuzzier representations of the underlying concepts. That's the metonym, right? They changed the US government to Washington, or vice versa. And then they match the concepts in the query with the concepts in the document. We call this technique neural matching. This can enable us to address queries like, so here's their test query. And this is what I want you to do. I want you to put Washington in your keyword tool and see if you get the US government. I want you to put what's the title of the consumer at the highest level of the food chain in your keyword tool and see if you get apex predator. I bet you won't. I want you to put, why does my TV look strange, in your keyword tool and see if you get the answer, which is called the soap opera effect. So Google can match this to this. Can your keyword tool do that? I don't think so, right? And if it can't, then it's broken. Then it's not going to help you in SEO. So let me show you a free way after we talk about BERT in a second. So they surface the most relevant results for that question. Why does my TV look strange? Even if the exact words aren't contained in the page. And the answer is the soap opera effect. So this is what I want you to do. This is the challenge for your keyword tool. And now that I say this, everyone's going to go change their keyword tool, but you can keep testing it to see if it works, right? When you search what's the title of the consumer at the highest level of the food chain, if it doesn't give you apex predator, then it's not going to help you rank for RankBrain. If you search the US government and it doesn't give you Washington, or if you search Washington in your keyword tool and it doesn't give you the US government, then it's not going to help you rank for neural matching. And hey, that's 66% of the on-page rankings right there. And if you search, why does my TV look strange, and it doesn't give you the soap opera effect, then your keyword tool, sadly, is not going to help you rank for neural matching. So we've already got 2/3 of the on-page algorithm as fully admitted by Google. If your keyword tool doesn't do that stuff, then it's just going to hurt you. So this is my heartfelt, I'm not trying to diss any other keyword tools. I'm really not. If there was a good one, I'd say use it. But none of them appreciate these changes in Google. And I feel sadly like the SEO industry is kind of like in its end days, kind of like the oil industry where they know that electric is coming. And so they're just trying to sell as much oil as possible. That's just my personal opinion. So I'm trying to tell you the truth, even if the truth is hard to hear. And I'm not aware of any keyword tool that can actually match what RankBrain, neural matching, and what BERT are actually doing. So if your keyword tool can't do that, stop paying for it. So hopefully I've just saved you a ton of heartache of trying to rank your pages with this keyword tool and it breaks. I have a much better way of you doing it. Let me show you in a couple seconds. And hopefully I've saved you hundreds or thousands of dollars of not having to pay for these keyword tools, because they ain't cheap, a lot of them either. So I'm going to show you a free way of finding keywords in a second. But let's first investigate BERT to see how BERT operates and see how it likes to change the query. Okay, so BERT, which is their Transformer Natural Language Processor. Now, in 2019, they said they released BERT, but we're 3 years from 2019, and they've released so many transformers since then. Smith, Gopher, Mum, the infamous Lambda, which the Google engineer thought was sentient. These are all transformers, really, at the end of the day. And so they said that, and it fires most every English query. It's a transformer natural language processor for query and page retrieval, a model for understanding meaning and context. It does not strip out entities, and it was released much later than that original NLP demo, and so it's not the same technology. It's not really going to help you. So what you need to do is understand BERT. Now, this is the main thing I want to take away in the course for BERT, is that stop words now matter. Okay, and you're like, okay, well, what's a stop word? Okay, if I search ballet adults, there's no stop words there. There's no prepositions. There's no small little words. However, so that would be mostly taken care of by neural matching, and RankBrain would mostly take care of that query. Not that BERT wouldn't score pages that it thought was relevant for ballet adults, whatever that means, and it would score pages and put them up there. All three of those AIs are going to score pages. They're going to rank pages. They're going to give a score to a page, and all those scores they're going to filter out, right? Neural matching gives page A a score of 8. RankBrain gives page B a score of 6. BERT gives page C a score of 3, and they're going to be number 1, number 2, and number 3, just like that, page A, B, and C, because of the score that those on-page algorithms gave them. But what happens when I put ballet for adults in here? This is now a preposition. This would have been considered a stop word in the past. And for neural matching, and I've tested this, for neural matching and for RankBrain, it is a stop word. It is not counted. However, although some stop words are counted for RankBrain, is, will, and can are still counted. Because it's very important to say, X is Y, X will Y, or X can Y. It's explaining a conceptual relationship that RankBrain still finds important to see what people want. When you search roofing is great, roofing is Winnipeg, or something like that, or roofing will Winnipeg, or roofing can Winnipeg, those different, that's a bad example, but I can't think of better examples off the top of my head. But the word is, can, and will, those verbs depict different actions. And sometimes, as you well know, especially those people who are trying to rank locally, users have actions they want to accomplish. They want to book a table, they want to check a menu, they want to book a service for local, they want to just check a service for local. Those verbs matter, right? And so neural matching and, not neural matching as far as I can tell, but RankBrain seems to take into consideration those stop words. But other prepositions like the word for, they do not. And that's where BERT comes in. So here's the example provided by Google of how BERT is used. If you search for, can you get medicine for someone at the pharmacy? So it's for someone, and you could even type in at the, or that could be included later. The transformer is going to add this for you. BERT's going to add this for you, and BERT's going to pay attention to the actual sentence, just like GPT-3 does. If you've ever played with GPT-3, you'll see that a transformer actually takes into consideration all the stop words in the actual sentence. So I just put in the query to GPT-3, Google is a, and it says a good sire. It meant to say site, the temperature or randomness is on. And then it said, I agree, Google is a great site. So it took this context into consideration and then it made a completion. That's exactly how BERT is going to work because it too is a transformer. It's going to take this sentence, can you get medicine for someone, pharmacy, and it's going to make a completion. And it's going to realize that for someone else is very important for the query. They said, BERT helps us understand that you're trying to figure out if you can pick up medicine for someone else. Before BERT, that is to say, with just neural matching or RankBrain, because neural matching and RankBrain were in operation before BERT. This is why they made BERT, to fix this problem. Before BERT, we took that short preposition, the word for granted. Mostly surfacing results about how to fill a prescription. Google, that's the end of the quote for Google has said. Now they understand the question context for someone else and can answer it properly. So this is fascinating. So we have RankBrain, which is watching clicks and doing machine learning on semantic vectors, like lines of meaning, like a line like this, like not too bad, pretty good, good, great, excellent, ideal. That is a semantic line of meaning of getting better. And that's what RankBrain does by watching what people click. And it does that per tag. It watches where people click per tag, and it sees, okay, when people search for what's the title of the consumer at the highest level of the food chain, it realizes the meaning of that, conceptually speaking, based on where people have clicked. And it goes, oh, what you want is apex predator. So that's very interesting. The way that RankBrain works, the way that neural matching works, and the way that the BERT transformer works is all doing query rewriting, so to speak. It's all rewriting the query. You searched ABC and you thought you wanted ABC, but Google knows better and they're going to give you XYZ. And that's based on where people click for RankBrain. It's based on the metonym word replacement for neural matching, synonyms and metonyms. And that's based on the what the transformer thinks, what the AI actually thinks you're asking for, and taking the small words into account and the prepositions and the stop words into account. So again, if you type into your keyword tool, for example, can you get medicine for someone pharmacy, or can you get medicine for someone at the pharmacy? If it doesn't give you the page that talks about, or give you the result that talks about getting pharmacy results for someone else, then sadly, your keyword tool is just out of date and not going to help you at all. All right, what else does BERT do? Well, BERT does quite a bit of stuff, right? It does what we call passage ranking. So the passage ranking is looking for sections of a page, maybe a heading tag and a few paragraphs underneath, and it's going to score the document based on what it finds there. It's also choosing the featured snippet, both the featured snippet at the top and your search snippet, which is people call your meta description and your title, but it's not your meta description and title. It's chosen by BERT. And that's what they're going to put there based on that transformer, as far as we can tell, based on our testing. It's going to do what we call topicality processing to make sure that you're the most topical for the thing that's being asked. It does the people also ask questions as well as what the transformer does. Watch to see when Google does an update, if this changes or this changes. And you can see if they have changed, then it's a good chance that Google has updated their transformer. And the transformer is doing more every day. So to do SEO, you have to understand artificial intelligence. You must understand RankBrain, neural matching, and BERT. And your tools have to be set up to understand RankBrain, neural matching, and BERT. And when you join Underground University, you will learn these things. We have tons of testing, hours and hours and hours of testing into RankBrain, into neuromatching, into BERT, and we have proven theories and proven tactics on how to rank in these things. So stop applying tricks, join Underground University, and you will learn these things. And I have taken our first lesson from Underground University, and I will give it to you right now because it's SEOmas for free. So let's go check out the first lesson from Underground University, which is a complete on-page method, which is future-proof, that is free and takes into account RankBrain, neuromatching, and BERT. You wonder what it is? Let me show you free right now. Okay, here's our goals from June 2022. So this is current to June 2022, but this is going to be future-proof current, really, everything I'm talking about, until Google is just a talking artificial intelligence that talks to you. As long as it ranks pages at the top, this is going to be current for that. So the first goal, 1, you need to be in the Goldilocks zone. This will be optimal on page. I'm here to warn you that you cannot be over-optimized. There are over-optimization penalties. You need to be in the Goldilocks zone. So I don't have time to get into how to calculate that today. Join Underground SEO University. But I will have some tips for you at the end of the on-page free course that'll keep you hopefully out of the Goldilocks zone for most people most of the time. So the more quality rank you have, the more cluster rank you have, the more entity rank you have, the more page rank you have. And these are actually things that Google tracks, by the way. Cluster rank is a thing. Quality rank is a thing. This has to do with what Panda used to do, and this is when they talk about quality, it's your quality rank. We track that, we can measure that, we can manipulate this, we can boost this. Cluster rank, we can track this, we can measure this, we can boost this. Entity rank, we can track. There's a number of entities that they track. Some of them you might know of, some of them you probably don't. And that will boost you. There's ways to boost there. And then, of course, the ye olde page rank algorithm. The more you have these ranks, the more you can get away with in terms of over-optimization, but there is a hard limit, and even the big sites can get hit by over-optimization sometimes. You want to have the best neural matching, RankBrain, and BERT keywords for all the important places: the title, the URL, the meta description, and you want this for the H1 and body as well, but again, you need to be in the Goldilocks zone and not overstuffed. So in Underground SEO University, when you join, you'll find out that to make sure you're in the Goldilocks zone and you're not too rich with keywords, you want to start from the bottom up. You want to start removing keywords from the bottom and remove them close to the top, because keywords at the top of the page are worth way more than keywords at the bottom of the page. And then meta description will boost you and is totally different and is more of a reflection of RankBrain keywords. Then title will boost you, which is more of a reflection of neural matching, and BERT keywords are more a reflection of the title. Although some RankBrain mega keywords, the secret keywords that really boost you, can be found at the title as well, and the URL too. Remember, there used to be, and there's another reason why we want to go from the bottom up when we're removing over-optimization. And if you think you're over-optimized, you can follow this tactic as well. There used to be, and I suspect still are, total scoring algorithms and separate title, meta description, and URL boosters or demoters that work independent of the total score / Goldilocks zone. So that means if you can, you do want to have the best keywords in the title, the best keywords that neural matching wants to see, the best keywords that RankBrain wants to see, and the best keywords that BERT wants to see. So you're really serving 3 masters when you're doing a Google on-page. In fact, when you're doing on-page SEO, you can think of it really as 3 separate search utilities. It's really 3 separate search engines in Google. There's neural matching search engine, there's the RankBrain search engine, and there's the BERT search engine, and they all independently score pages. So you want to have the best keywords in the title and the URL and the meta description, at least, but you don't want to go too far and you still want to be in the Goldilocks zone for that. Also watch in some places for 1, overpowered RankBrain search results pages where clicks have forced a result. For example, like the search Hanauma Bay Parking. For Hanauma Bay Parking, you can possibly safely go over the Goldilocks zone and RankBrain will still rank you because it likes you so much if you say the super secret keyword for RankBrain. And can you guess what the super secret keyword for RankBrain might be for an EMQ like Hanauma Bay Parking? Well, it's this right here. The super RankBrain keywords here are Hanauma Bay State Park. If you say Hanauma Bay State Park in your Hanauma Bay Parking page, that in our testing showed a huge boost. So that will boost you in our testing tool that we use secretly in Underground SEO University. We have a very, very low cost. It's like $20 a month or something like that, $15 a month or $25 a month, some very low cost tool we use for testing our keywords that opens up the Google algorithms completely. But the Goldilocks zone still applies, right? So if you see some of these RankBrain keywords, if you suspect you're seeing some of these RankBrain super secret keywords that really turn RankBrain on, that really are like the vector, the semantic vector they're going for. Like remember, the vector was something like not bad, pretty good, good, great, excellent, amazing, ideal. There's a vector of meaning there from the most crappy to the least crappy, or the least good to the most good, or the least value to the most value. Every single word is on a vector map like that for RankBrain that exists on the internet, that they've spidered and that people have clicked and give them an answer of which direction to go. And so Hanauma Bay State Park is the Uber keyword when you're trying to rank for Hanauma Bay parking, because the parking lot is related to, and at the end of the day is for, the state park at Hanauma Bay. That's the vector, the semantic vector. This is where these Gesios get the idea of EAT. They think that the expertise, authority, and trust of their links or something is doing something. No, not at all. They think that it has something to do with their citations or something. No, not at all. It has nothing to do with that. Because you would show your expertise and your authority on a topic if you wrote about it properly according to Google, and writing about it properly according to Google, as far as RankBrain can detect, you actually announce what state park this parking lot is for. You're being official in your page. So that's how it works. RankBrain and neural matching and BERT have secret keywords they're looking for, all based on the different ways they work. So that's why I went through them, because one, you can't rank for on page if you don't understand these AIs, because that's what's doing the ranking. And two, they have secret keywords. And so I'm going to try to help show you today how you could suss out what these secret keywords are for free. Now, remember, this is very important. For anyone trying to use the methods, any methods that I'm going to show you, either in this free course or in the paid group in Underground SEO University, if you're already on page one, do not remove keywords. Even if you're way too rich and you're way above the Goldilocks zone, do not remove keywords. Always remove keywords later in what we call the process. We have a process of ranking where you go from step 1 to step 10, and you iterate through that as quickly and as perfectly as you can possibly, because you never know where a mistake might lie. And so it starts with on page and it ends with off page and does everything in between, which there's a lot of steps in between. There's like 6 different buckets you have to spend money and time in. And they don't all fit nicely into the ye olde on-page, off-page model. Google has algorithms that rank you that has nothing to do with on-page and nothing to do with off-page as it is conceived of in the industry. So that's another thing you'll learn when you join SEO University. And also remember that RankBrain changes in real time based on the aspect that they like. For example, this is another way that Google keeps ahead all of the changes on the internet, right? At first you search for ballet for adults and they gave you classical ballet classes. But let's say the whole world decided they want to take ballerino ballet or contemporary ballet. And so everyone clicked on contemporary instead, just because that's just the way that the zeitgeist went. And suddenly RankBrain is now going to boost the different aspect that people have clicked on. So you have to watch and think, what aspect is RankBrain clicking, is promoting into perfection based on people's clicks? What aspect of RankBrain are you trying to rank for? When you're trying to rank for, let's say, mattresses, do you want to go for the top 10 buyer's guide aspect? Or do you want to go for the free buy now aspect? There's different aspects of the same EMQ, and RankBrain is the algorithm that watches for that and sees where people click and goes, oh, when they search for ABC, they want XYZ, right? And XYZ changes over time. ABC barely changes. XYZ is what changes based on the pattern of people's clicks and the semantic vector of where that points you to. Number 2 on this 3-point list is, remember, you want to cast as wide a net as possible to find the keywords that the competition isn't using. So you avoid repetition and you attract the transformer, which we think is BERT, but could be any new one. Could be Smith, could be Lambda for all I know. And you can then use the HTML tool that we have to boost your HTML vector, which is another way to rank and boost yourselves, that they are using mostly. So remember, this HTML booster is a separate booster to the Goldilocks zone semantic richness issue I mentioned above. So that's another way you can boost when you join Underground SEO University. Again, I won't have time to go through that today. I'm just going to show you a quick, free, easy method that's going to be totally future-proofed to do your on-page. That'll work for most people most of the time. So remember, when you're doing that though, you want to cast as wide a net as possible to use the keywords your competition isn't using. And last but not least, you want to do this as efficiently, as perfect, and as fast as relative to your style of SEO, right? From surgical in-house spend hours on one page kind of SEO to the spray and pray affiliate long tail pump out 10,000 pages at a time SEO, we accommodate both types in Underground SEO University. So when you have a scientific-based SEO group, you can accommodate both types of SEO. You could say, okay, if you're doing in-house SEO where you have only like 5 or 10 pages to rank, or you're not even in-house, you're doing affiliate ranking, you only care about 5 or 10 pages, and you're going to spend hours and hours and hours perfecting those pages, do this method. We have all that in Underground SEO University, and it's totally applicable to the free on-page method I'm about to show you. Or if you're doing the spray and pray, more black hat methods of pumping out 10,000 pages at a time, you can still do that. We have people in our group who are doing this and succeeding and doing very well in the group. You're going to meet one of them at the end of this video as one of my testimonials, Eric. But there's a whole different way of doing that, and you have to watch out different things. The principles of ranking that are scientifically proven by Underground SEO University don't change. Your method of tactically implementing the science changes based on your style of SEO, slow and deep and surgical, or fast and light. So we've got both types covered, and both types are covered in this method I'm about to show you now. But the key is to remember that whichever method you use, you want to go as fast as possible, because it's no good that if a group can tell you, I can get you to number one, it's how long does that take, right? I can get you to number one in 5 years, or I can get you to number one in 5 weeks. Which one is it, right? So in order to ensure that my students are getting to number one as fast as possible, I have to remind you to learn the methods of the group as quick as possible, and the methods I'm about to show you in this free course as fast as possible and as perfectly as possible, and iterate. Go through page upon page upon page upon page upon page upon page as quickly as you can. Don't delay in SEO. It is a race at the end of the day. You want to be first, right? You want to be number one quickly and as fast as possible for as long as possible. So never forget when you're doing SEO that time is also a factor. Let's look at the method. The fastest, easy, future-proof, free on-page method, which is actually, and when you join the group, you'll see, this is right from our notes. This is directly from our book of how to do SEO, which was paid secret knowledge before. I'm giving away for free our first step because it's just that good. And here's the step. So let me show you how to do it in a free over-the-shoulder tutorial. So get your fingers ready on the keyboard. You're going to follow along. You're going to pause the video and follow along and do this at the same time. So the first thing we need to do is download a little bit of free software. So the first step is to get all the tools that we need, and all the URLs here will be put in the description. So first we need to grab Ginfinity. So just go here to Google Chrome, go to the URL here and just download Ginfinity. I already have it installed, of course. Then the next thing we need to do is you need to get the SERP to CSV bookmarklet. It's a bookmarklet, which is JavaScript that your browser processes. So go here to the URL and you can get the bookmarklet here. Go to this page, follow the, here it is, the bookmarklet here. Drag this button to your bookmarks bar, just like they show you here. And it works pretty easily. I'll show you how it works in a second as well. Once that's done, here's where the method actually starts. So the method actually, the on-page testing for keywords starts here, actually. So you want to scrape your search results page for your EMQ. Your EMQ is what you're trying to rank for. That stands for exact match query. That's your search that you want to rank for. So for example, we're going to use the EMQ ballet for adults. So we're going to pretend like we're trying to rank for ballet for adults. We have a ballet class page we want to rank highly for adults. And that's the EMQ we want to rank for, ballet for adults. So the first thing we want to do is we want to do a search for it in Google. Now, you can just go to Google, your normal Google, and just go ballet for adults, and you can search it from your local area if you want. And all this stuff here is what we're going to be pulling, not the YouTubes, but we're going to be pulling off these competitors. And you notice because I'm in Canada, we have .ca, we got balletvictoria.ca because it knows I'm close to Victoria, BC. And we've got Maple Leaf Ballet. Boy, there's nothing but any more Canadian than Maple Leaf Ballet. Jeez. Oh my goodness. That was the most Canadian thing I think I've ever seen. Do they play hockey too? Sorry. Some gentle ribbing of my own country and countrymen, men and women and non-binaries. So, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now that'll be okay. But the problem is that you notice that, look, it's filtering up all these geolocated results, right? Because it knows I'm in Canada, right? And the problem there is that these guys are not ranking here because of their great keywords. These guys are ranking here because they're just geographically relevant to where I've searched. So Google has a two-sort system. Sort 1 is the information you want. This is all the on-page scoring is what you're going to want. And you're going to get back what used to be called the shard collection, or the collection of pages. And that used to be the top 1,000, and now they've reduced it to 200 to 400, even less sometimes, it depends. And this is on page and maybe links, probably. And this is the main scoring that they used to use. And then what happens is they do at least one more sort called sort 2. And this is, Google has admitted all this, and we've tested this, where they take certain pages from here and they move them up, and certain pages go down because of stuff like geolocation, personalization, quality, a number of other algorithms that you'll learn about in Underground SEO University, which changes the sort. So we don't want this information. We want to just get the information is here because of on page as much as possible. And so to do that, we need to get rid of geolocation, and we need to get rid of personalization. Is what we need to do as much as we can do. So in order to do that, I have a little trick for you that's free. It'll work. Assuming you're not trying to rank for China, what we'll do is, and again, you should use this search URL here. This is just a normal Google search. You put it in the URL bar here because it's for the URL, or you would click on it, and your EMQ would go here. But notice what has happened here is that the geolocation I've set to China. Now, why would I want to force the geolocation to China? Because there's not a lot of Chinese results that are also in the language of English, or French, or German, or any other language but Mandarin, of course, because that's what they speak over in China. For the most part, is Mandarin. Of course, there's Cantonese as well, of course. But China, of course, as you well know, has a problem with Google. They're not very well served by Google. And so this is a little trick that we use to get results that are not geolocated. These pages are ranking here because of their sort 1 qualities, more because of their on page, and links too, of course, but more because of their on page. There's no personalization. I've turned that off here. Personalization equals 0. I've turned off personalization, so there's no personalization here. There's no geolocation here. There's still quality. There's still the Panda quality scores and whatnot. But this is being mostly pulled up because of on-page, because of the 3 on-page algorithms. And remember, I talked about them earlier. They're very important to remember. The 3 on-page algorithms are rankbrain, neural matching, and the transformer, which I always call BERT, even though it might not be BERT anymore. It could be one of their newer transformers. BERT is 3 years old now, and they've iterated this like a million times. So it's the descendant of BERT, whatever the descendant of BERT is. We can call it MUM if you want, because MUM is getting involved here too. There's also all kinds of other algorithms here, which are very important and huge ranking factors that are being included. But mostly we're getting the on-page scoring here by setting the geolocation to the lovely country of China, because they're underserved in Google search, especially in the English language. So that's going to prioritize, that's going to get rid of personalization. That's going to prioritize, it's not going to have Chinese located, geolocated results, not that many of them anyway. And as you can see here, I did it for ballet for adults, and they barely have a result in China. They got 2 in China, Hong Kong. When this came up originally, it was much more located also to India. Like, look how few results they have, right? They got like, well, we don't have much in China, so we don't have much to serve to you, right? So you only need to do that if you have a geolocated result. If your search is something like best herbal pills, then you don't need to use I could just replace that here. Also, this is how you would use it. You would put your query here like this: best plus herbal plus pills. And if you mess with this too much, Google might block you, but that's okay. You can get it back. You're only going to give it a timeout. Best herbal pills is not geolocated. You see there's no map results that come up here at all. It's not geolocated at all. So you could do this from anywhere. It doesn't matter. It's not going to be a geolocation that's involved, although you do want to remove personalization from your personalized sites getting moved to the top. So I would suggest using this URL. Either you could do US if you want, or it's not going to make that much of a difference, but China I would use to remove the geolocation out of the results here. And it's only if you have a geolocated result. And you never know when you do the search. Of course, ballet usually is close to somebody, so you want to use the geolocation of China here. There's really no Chinese results they can put here into the results. You see, we've got .coms, .ca, .com, .com, .org, .com. We've got Russian. We got all different kinds of areas, Arizona, we got all different kinds of areas here. So they're not really that geolocated. These are ranking here more because of their keywords. And that's what we want. We want to scrape the keywords and then check what the most powerful keywords are, is what we're going to be trying to do. So now what we want to do is once you've searched for your EMQ, and you got to put your EMQ here, now what we want to do in the next step is we want to grab the snippets that Google creates for you. What are the snippets? The snippets are what people call the title and meta description, or the Google links. That's what we want to grab. These are called snippets. Then the featured snippet is the one that's at the very top, if there is such a thing. We don't have a featured snippet here. And they call this is the title, this is the meta description, at least that's what people call it, but that's wrong. Google can rewrite this. Google is using, remember, we already gone over this before? Google is using their transformer, their latest transformer, which is probably BERT, to choose the people also ask, because it's the only AI that would understand this well enough like a human, to choose what the link should be, which usually they choose from your title tag, but not always. They can add to it. They can rewrite it however they like, based on what they think is useful for the users. And if they do rewrite your title tag, if they don't use your title tag and use something else, that is a huge indication that your title tag is bad. It's not good for some reason. Either it's overly stuffed with keywords, or it doesn't have enough relevancy for this query here. And relevancy is hugely important because it's the relevant keywords that RankBrain, Neural Matching, and BERT are choosing that you want to have on your page represented. So unless you're ranking number 1, if you're ranking number 1 to 3, I wouldn't change very much at all. That's just a general rule of thumb, so remember that. From now on, when I talk about what you're going to change, if you're ranking 1 to 3 already, don't change it. Don't play with it. You want to join SEO University and analyze very carefully what to do, because if you start changing the keywords there drastically, you might hurt something, right? So you have to be very careful, be very, very careful, as the Elmer Fudd would say, if you change, when you're already spot 1 to 3. But otherwise, if they've rewritten your title, it's probably an indication that your title is bad. And they quite often do not choose the meta description here anymore. So that's what, I'm just pointing this out, that a lot of people call that the title and meta description, because that's what it used to be back in the day, but it's not anymore. They will rewrite the link to be whatever they want from your page, or even from a linking cluster page, or a backlinking page sometimes, very rarely. Anything in your cluster, which can give you a rank, by the way. There's another hint. A huge ranking factor. So they can choose that, and they also will often choose the important sentence in your passage. This is called passage ranking. This is part of passage ranking, not the entirety of it. Part of passage ranking, which we all know they've announced and they do. And the transformer is doing this. It's like GPT-3. It's reading the page and it's like asking GPT-3, out of these paragraphs, what's the most important sentence that encapsulates what this is about as compared to this query. And the transformer, just like GPT-3, goes, oh, okay, this. Ballet for adults, they picked ballet, and they bolded ballet because it's one of the relevant keywords. Ballet is a physically demanding art form that requires a lot of strength, endurance, and flexibility from our bodies, all the while looking. So they gave you a definition of ballet. So it's interesting that they gave a definition of ballet here. It's not always the same. This one, they talked about our adult ballet classes, which is more on point when you think about it. When someone is searching ballet for adults, ostensibly they want to take a class, right? So knowing the user intent is going to be very important for you to suss out what the proper keywords are, because that's exactly what RankBrain, Neural Matching, and BERT are trying to do. They're trying to suss out what the important keywords are. And so look at this snippet that they chose out of the page. Our adult ballet classes are suitable for all levels of experience and are an inspiring way to develop strength, flexibility, and coordination. So it's clearly a sales pitch to take the course, which they know that's probably what you're looking for. This one is on the same level, right? So this could have been a meta description. This is probably not. This could have been a meta description, but really they're not meta description anymore. These are called snippets. These are the snippets, and they choose the text part, the non-bolded part of the snippet as representative of some aspect that is important as RankBrain determines it and as the transformer determines it for this particular query, right? This particular search. So as I said before, all the searches have an aspect that they're looking for. And it's the aspect, which aspect is it and which aspect do you want to be part of is the question. Do you want to have a buyer's guide with a top 10, or do you want to just have buy now? Like, are you a sales page? Are you a are you a do page? Or your no do page? You also have to know the search funnel, right? The search funnel runs like this. This is do, this is no do is what Google actually calls it, and this is no. There's their queries where they want to know, or otherwise called info queries. There's queries where they want to know and then buy. And there's queries where they're ready to buy. And this also works for different queries. There's info searches here, no-do searches here, and navigational or buy queries here, transactional queries here. Other people call them transactional queries. But this also works inside of each of the queries. There's another little V of different aspects inside each of these queries that RankBrain is going to choose and the transformer is going to choose bits of based on what people have clicked. And so you want to choose what aspect you want to go for based on the aspects that we see in the keywords I'm about to show you, and I'll show you how to do that. So what we need to do here is we need to do the search, and we need to grab the snippets that Google curates for you. And so the snippets are, like, as I said, the title, meta description, what people used to call them, or the links is what we want to do. So to do this, we need to use the SERP to CSV bookmarklet that we grabbed here from Link Pitch. And there's other ones that do this. I have another one that does this. If this ever gets messed up, email me. I hope this video will run for years and will give people free information of how to do this on page for years, because it's future-proof. I don't need to touch this video again. It'll be future-proof. It'll work. When Google changes the on-page algorithms, the keywords at the top will change. Then you just rerun this process and you get your new keywords and see if the keywords are different from what they were when last time you checked. You just keep track of that. So how do we do that? Okay, well, I got here. First off, what we need to do is it'll grab all the links on this page that we want. It's called SERP to CSV. It's this bookmarklet here. It'll grab all the pages here that we want. But what we want to do here is I need to scroll down and let the Ginfinity and plugin give me all the results. Now, you can tell I've updated my site settings to be 100 results. You can do this with 10 results too. It doesn't matter. 10 results, 100 results, doesn't matter. It just will save you some scrolling. Now, Ginfinity automatically populated page 2. And I just keep scrolling down, and there might be a page 3 sometimes. There's page 3, and then there might be a page 4 sometimes. Page 3 is going to be the end of it. Fine. So it'll say 3 or 4, but that's fine. That's because it's 100 per. It's about 100 per. That's perfectly fine. And if you had just 10, then you'd be going down to like page 40 scrolling down, but you would get there eventually. Or you just go into your settings and set in your search settings, you would set 100 per. It's in the settings here. You can check and find it out. You should be able to find it yourself. Okay, so once I have all of the search results, and I want all of the search results, I don't just want the top 10, I want to see the trends for the entire SERP collection that they send back, because these are all pages that have been curated here by Google based on a number of algorithms, but not least of which their on-page scoring from 3 separate AIs that I've tested is a huge part of the rankings. I'd say this is 60 to 70% of the rankings alone right here is their 3 on-page artificial intelligences. In my opinion, from my testing, I'd say this is a good 70% of the ranking right here. Approximate tilde 70% of the ranking, I'd say, is these 3 AIs. Links are very little actually these days. I know people are still crazy about them. I'd say this is about 10% of the rankings, and the rest are the 10% here. This makes all the difference from page 2 to page 1, and even to spot 1. And so too can links make some difference too. I'm not saying links aren't part of the algorithm. They are for sure. But they're definitely not the only algorithm to manipulate. And in my opinion, they're the worst. You should do links last. They're the highest risk and the most cost. The risk is highest and the cost is highest. Because of this, I would avoid links. I would do links last. And in SEO University, I teach you how to do links last and how to rank on this and how to rank on this 90% of the time. And we don't even need any of these 90% of the time when you understand all these other algorithms that are in here. Again, not to say that links aren't a factor. They definitely are. For sure they are. But again, they're so risky and so costful, we would do them last. I would try to rank on everything else first. Okay, so I've gotten all the links here. Now I want to click the SERP to CSV, bookmarklet, and what it does is downloads all of the results. As you can see here, it downloads all of the results, and it gives me the title, the link that they were given, and what they call a description, but it's not. It's a snippet from the page. This is a curated snippet of what's important, the important keywords on that page, and they give me the URL. So this is what we're going to work with here, and you don't have to work with it in Excel. You can work with it in open office spreadsheets. You know, this can be totally free if you want it to be. Now, the next thing I can do here as a bonus, another little secret bonus for you, because it's SEO Miss, I'm giving you all the bonuses for free, is you can grab the top 1 to 5's main content. You can even do the top 10 pages if you want main content, because a lot of them are going to be there because, and I mean the information results here. I don't mean all these other results here. You want to use the pages, the web pages that are being ranked here because of their on-page keywords for the most part. And we can grab these and open this in an incognito window so as not to throw them any beneficial signals because they're not going to be me. And I can Control A and Control C the whole thing, or I can just grab this main content piece, which is probably what they're ranking on for the keywords, is going to be mostly this main content piece, which would include this because Google might not see this as a footer. This is the footer. Google might not see this as the footer. But just to be easy, I'll do Control A, Control C. I'll grab the whole thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire these into a notepad, is what I'll do. I'll fire in all the competitors here into a notepad. Just one big notepad will be fine. So I'll grab the top competitors here as well. So open an incognito window, Control A, Control C, put this in here, boink. Okay, great. Just the front-facing content is fine. This one, I'll do the top 5. How about that? Which is, pretty much all you need. You can do the top 10 if you really want to be thorough. It's up to you how long you want to spend doing this, but it doesn't take that long at all. The Academy, now I'll do Northern Ballet. Classes for adults, exactly. That's exactly the page that Google should be ranking there. Boom. And I'll close this, and we'll go here, and we'll do San Francisco Ballet, who comes up often. Google likes this page. And it has adult ballet classes. Interesting. That's their H1. Okay, and you start, this is where the competitive analysis starts to help you when you narrow things down in a sensible way. And you strip out, by using the geolocated search, I've stripped out, geolocation and personalization, 2 big, huge algorithms, and location by IP, and also I always use .com, so that it's always ranking it based more on keywords than it would if I hadn't stripped this out. So that didn't take long at all, and it'd be really useful. You want to cast as wide a net as possible to anything that is curated by Google that is relevant. Google is the keyword tool you want to use. In many cases, Google is the keyword tool you want to use. It's the Google search utilities that you want to rank in, so Google is the tool that you want to use to curate the keywords for you. And whoever they decide to put at the top is going to be great candidates to curate those results. Another thing I can do is I can grab the URLs. So let me show you how that would work, because there's a whole bunch of great keywords in these URLs. So let me grab this. Let me take this to the notepad here we're working on. Now, what I want to do is I want to do a bunch of search and replaces now. Now this could take some time. HTTPS : I want to replace this with a space. Any slash I want to replace with a space. Any dot I want to replace with a space. And I want to do this in a way that's going to cut out all of the URLs. I want to cut out the www, replace all. Now, I want to take the word ballet and separate it out to ballet with spaces around it. I want to take the word for and separate it out with F0R. And I'm doing it that way so that the tool I'm about to use doesn't cut out the stop words. And then I'm going to just take adults and make space adults and replace that out. So all the URLs where the main keywords showed up, they're all should be split out now. I could even split out adult if I want, but I'm not going to. I'm going to get rid of the dashes though, of course. I'll do that, replace all. And now a lot of the really important keywords in the URLs have been separated out to some degree. And so you can look at it. Oh, I didn't do HTTP. You can spend a lot of time curating this rough keyword list to make it just perfect. Now you notice dance shows up here a lot. I could separate out dance if I want to. I can separate out dance if I want to. Sorry about that. Replace all. And look, now you're starting to, if you have a beard, you're starting to stroke your beard and go, or stroke your virtual beard. Go ahead, do it on your chin and go, which keywords here are starting to look interesting? So classes, we got that separated out quite a bit. Good. Okay, we don't want .org. We don't need this org, replace all. We don't want .com, replace all. That's not really going to help too much, knowing the extension. Although it can be interesting to see sometimes. Okay, so I could spend a lot longer cleaning this out, and I might need to. Let's get rid of the underscore here that I saw. Saw an underscore. Let's get rid of that. I could spend a lot longer here cleaning things out, but I'm not going to, just because I want to move fast and show you how to do this. But you could spend a little bit more time, making sure that all the words here are collected, but it doesn't really matter too much. Okay, so now I've got the top 1 to 5 content here. I've got the URLs at the bottom here that have a bunch of great keywords in them, because keywords in the URL are still a major ranking factor. And so if any of these, because these URLs are the ones that are at the top that Google curated, they're going to have great keywords in them, right? Now what I'm going to do is I take the links and the snippet, and I'm going to put that here at the bottom of this list. Now, I saw a couple things I want to get rid of first. I still want to clean this a bit. I want to get rid of HK. Let's see if I find that. I don't want, I don't need Hong Kong. Yeah, I don't need these books from Google. That's not going to help. Books, Google, not going to help. Great. And I don't need this. I can start getting rid of stuff that's not going to be useful. I don't need this. Okay, I don't need probably, well, you never know. Alumni board, would that be important for ballet? I doubt it. I don't need any of these things. This is not going to help me at all. And then, good. These are all the, okay, great. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is, now that I've done some manually cleaning, and you can find programs to do a lot of this as well, I'm going to start using some more programs to clean this out and help things. So what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to Control-A, Control-C, and I'm going to go to this URL and convert it all to lowercase, okay? You want to convert your big collection of keywords here all to lowercase. So I'm going to go to Convert Case, I'm going to paste it in, I'm going to lowercase it, Control-A, Control-C. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to remove some special characters I saw in there. So I'm going to use this text utility to remove special characters. So that guy is here in my links. Here we are. We're going to submit it. Okay, we've removed the special characters, like the pipes and the whatnot. Control A, Control C. Okay, great. Make sure you don't lose it. Now what I'm going to do... Oh, I didn't check for any .cn. I'm sure it's fine. There's not going to be any... There's never any English Chinese websites. I mean, of course, if you're trying to rank for China, using China here in the geolocation is not going to work. If you happen to be wanting to rank for China, it's not going to work. Then you need to choose a different area. I would choose some little small island that Google supports that doesn't have any pages in English. Okay, so I've removed the weird characters. I added the URLs because there's major keywords there. Now what I want to do is I want to sort them into a list. Now there's a great free, it's actually a word cloud little utility that's free, and it actually works like a charm to do this. So I'll go back here. Here's my list all lowercase. And now we'll go to word clouds. I will go to paste type text. I'll paste in my list. And I will click apply. And it will do up to 2,500 keywords. And it will start showing me the words that are important. And then we click word list. And here we have all of the words curated by Google, counted as how many times they appeared in the top few hundred search collection and in the top 5 pages. And so these are Google curated keywords. Boom, free, future-proof. For you, you could run this. It took me it took me 10 minutes to do this because I was explaining it. It would take you 5 minutes if you didn't have to explain it to somebody while you're doing it. So let's check out these keywords. So I would start here. I'll drag this all the way down. And, you know, it doesn't matter if it's 1, 2, 3. At this point, it doesn't really matter. Control. But I can take, you know what, I could take the whole thing if I want to do searches on it later. And I'll make a new tab here. These are the keywords that I can work with for ballet for adults. There we go. So adult is more important here than adults. Isn't that interesting? And you can even have the percentage here if you want. Okay, so what I will do is I'll go equals this divided by itself. But what I will do is I will put a $sign here. And then what I'll simply do is I'll drag this down. It'll divide this by this, this by this. So we'll know what percentage this is to this, this is to this. This will be about 50% because this is 1,000, this is 500. So it'll be about 50%. That's how you know you've done it right. And so I'll drag this all the way down here. And this is how you use a spreadsheet as an SEO tool, one of the ways. A spreadsheet is a wonderful SEO tool. And while this is all highlighted, I'll right click and I'll go to format cells and I'll say percentage. This is a percentage and I'll say 1 decimal place. Okay. And now we can see how powerful these keywords are here compared to the main entity, or how powerful these entities are compared to the main entity. And notice this, remember, the EMQ is ballet for adults. But look, adult shows up more often than adults. Interesting. And classes shows up more often than adults. Way more often. This is 47% of the time in there. This is 19% of the time in there. And that's because the entity they're looking for is ballet classes. That's the super secret keyword, or possibly a good candidate to be the super secret keyword that RankBrain is looking for. And remember, neural matching is just looking for metonyms, which otherwise are word replacements or synonyms. And BERT is looking for a prepositional understanding, or a total understanding of the preposition, which was for. Now that's why I put a 0 in it. You remember when I was cleaning it out, I put a 0 in it because word clouds just as will also cut out the stop words. It would have gotten rid of the word for had I not changed it to F0R, so it didn't recognize it as a stop word, right? So now I can see how much this is actually used. And the answer is not that much. 13% of the time, that's it. That's it. So you're going to find very interesting results when you do this free technique and use these free tools to get the Google curated keywords for you that are going to be future-proofed. And you can start to see, you would think you should be saying ballet for adults all over your page. The answer is no. The answer is That's not true what you want to be using all over the page. There's places where you want to use it. And when you join Underground SEO University, we'll get more into the details of that. I don't really need to do that here. Just remember is just don't repeat yourself. Don't repeat yourself per tag. Don't say the EMQ all over the place. In fact, the TMQ, we call it, the transformed match query, or the rankbrain query, or we could call this, the AI match query, the AI keyword, is more powerful often than the EMQ in many cases. In this case in particular, look, ballet, adult ballet classes would be the top phrase that was being used here. You could just look, you could just tell this by looking at the words and using your own squishy human brain to be like, okay, and then adult dance classes, adult ballet dance classes, and then saying adults, like, look how different this is, 50% versus 20%. There's a 30% difference between this and this as to how much it should be mentioned, right? Now, this keyword, these percentage here is not saying your page should have 55% of the words in your page should be the word adult. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that this word is 30% more important than this word, 35% roughly more important than this word is what I'm saying. And also saying the EMQ requires the word for, right? Because that's the EMQ. And you can see, look, they say that only 13% of the time. They say adult ballet classes far, far more. I wonder if that's a reason why they're ranking up there and why everyone in this SERP collection that Google brought back and on the top and your competitors all at the top 1 to 5, I wonder if that's important for the reason why they're there. The answer is yes, of course. So you can basically look at this and go, well, you can do another thing. You can do a competitive analysis. You can take your own page, clean it, paste it here in word clouds and see how you compare, how your word clouds compares to this, and also get a sense of maybe stuff you should be doing or what you shouldn't be doing. Is another pro tip, which I've usually only tell my students at SEO University, but it's SEO-mas. And I'm giving you I'm showing you some of the benefit of joining SEO University. Of course, we have so much benefit. I can show you these free methods, and there's still tons and tons and hours and hours and hours of courses for me to show you and stuff for me to show you. This is actually step 1 of some of the methods we actually use in Underground SEO University. So when you join SEOU, you will learn more, much more. Okay, but I'm not done yet. Let me show you some more free, awesome on-page tips that I can show you that are completely future-proofed and totally free and proven by science to work, because this is stuff we actually do. You can also use this other tool called word count instead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the list I was curating here, and I'm going to remove all the special characters. This was the list I had here before I pasted it in. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this other tool called word count. I'm going to paste the information in here, all that's been lowercased. And we could see the same kind of stuff. We could see ballet classes, adult dance. We have the same kind of list here. But the other thing it does is it gives you phrases. It gives you the top phrases. And I'm going to take these top phrases here and I'm going to use them. So I could just use my imagination to make my own phrases, but I can also just grab them from here. Ballet school, ballet class. These are the phrases and entities you might want to be mentioning as well on your page, especially if you're not mentioning them. And then we get to ballet program, classes, adults, beginner ballet. Boom. Clean that up a bit. And then for adults, you know, I would go until you start getting kind of nonsense here. That was for adults was 20. classical ballet. Ooh, that could be a good one. Ballet dance could be a good one too. That could be an aspect that Google likes, right? So these are 2-word phrases. I can also check the 3-word phrases that are at the top of this. Adult ballet classes. Look, it's not ballet for adults. Ballet for adults is the EMQ, and back in the day, that would have been the #1 thing for sure, because that's what Google's triggering on. But not in the age of artificial intelligences. Not in the age of artificial intelligences anymore. That's just not how it works anymore. If you're still hitting the EMQ like crazy, you're hitting the string, not the thing, right? It's not really about keywords anymore. It's kind of about entities now, which are constructed of keywords. So take these out to think about. Adult ballet classes, which is again, adult ballet classes, which is what we ended up with here. Adult dance classes. Hey, look at that. Adult dance classes. Looky, looky. Ballet, adult ballet. Classes for adults, which is what they're looking for. They're looking for ballet classes for adults. So give them, Google's trying to track what the user's looking for. So you give them what they're looking for. And then I would ignore anything geo-specific. I just grabbed one that was geo-specific here. Let's see how you do. Obviously that's not relevant for everywhere. It wouldn't even be relevant for the UK. There we go. So now we have 2 words and 3 words phrases. Now we have the best keywords for you to use. And that took me what? 20 minutes to grab? And because I was explaining it and showing how to do different things. So it doesn't take long at all. It would only take you 5-10 minutes for you to do it on your own. Now you would just send this to your writer, and you'd be like, okay, this is what we should be talking about the most. And every sentence on the page from the top of the title, you would use the title for this. This is not what you would use in the meta description. You have to use something different in the meta description that you'll learn in SEO University. But you could use this for the meta description too if you want. It's not going to be that bad. And then this is use it for the H1, and then you use it for the top paragraph, the topic paragraph. The topic paragraph is the most important paragraph on the page. It's the page that goes directly under it's the paragraph of the set of paragraphs, the passage, the section that goes directly under your top header. And your top header doesn't have to be an H1. It could be an H2. It could be an H3. It could be text made large by CSS. It doesn't matter. Let me draw this for you. So you have the top header is here, and that's big text. It could be an H1. It doesn't matter. Google will read the CSS and tell us the header. This is the topic paragraph or paragraphs, and then there's another header here. Maybe if you want, maybe you don't need this. You need to ask yourself a question. And then we have the title. So this title, this header, whatever it is, and this topic paragraph, or maybe more paragraphs if it's included, this is the single most important content on the page for having the main entity. So you need a main entity ideas or concepts. The main things this is about. So what did I find here were the main things or concepts? Adult ballet classes, adult ballet classes, adult classes, dance classes, adult ballet classes, adult dance classes, secondary, adult ballet classes. So that would definitely be going in the title. That would definitely be going in some variation in the H1. And that's definitely what this top section would be about. Adult ballet classes, about that and nothing but that. The more you deviate and start talking about your mom, how she took ballet, or start deviating and talking about your dog and how cute it is, or start deviating and talking about anything else other than the main entity, idea, or concept as curated by Google, the more you will not rank. And the more you have here, the more sections you have after, the more this goes on and on and on. and is not on the main entity ID or concept, the more you will not rank. So there's another huge secret tip that we've proven through science for you that most of the industry doesn't even know. Most of the industry thinks it's the other way around, and they're wrong. They think a long page is better. They are wrong. They are dead wrong. I can prove it to you when you join Underground SEO University. It's actually, of course, a little bit more complicated than that, as you can imagine. There is a mathematical algorithm that determines, well, if you really have a lot of important keywords or important stuff, or your most important passage is actually this one, then they will ignore this one and rank you on this one, but they'll rank you worse. You still might rank higher than competitors if their pages suck even worse, but that's besides the point. SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. And when you join Underground SEO University, I'll teach you how to be optimal. It's not search engine guessing. It's not search engine meh. It's not search engine shrug. It's search engine optimization. I'll teach you how to be optimal and do this optimally. There's many ways to skin a cat. I can make this, my secondary section here had a score of 92, and all my other competitions are so bad, even in their main area, that they don't get over a 62. That means my on-page is better. I'll rank over them. But I would rank even higher. I would have 192 if I did it here, for example. And I would rank even higher over them, and they would need even more links and more off-page and more other signals to get to me because the scores are cumulative. So that's why you want your on-page to be as powerful as possible, because the scores are cumulative. That's why we want the on-page, and that's why I say it could be worth up to 70% of your rank if you do it right. If you don't do it right, well, then you need to buy more links, incur more risk, and incur more cost. And this is what we do day in, day out in Underground SEO University. We know this day in, day out. So I hope that you take that to heart. And these are the keywords. These are the kind of the main things, not strings. These are the kind of entities and main concepts and ideas that you could curate from Google, and you did it in 5 minutes, and it's future-proof. If the SERPs change, you will also change with it. And this is a future-proof, and it will always be free. As long as Google has a search results page that gives pages like this. Even when it's an AI that will talk to you, there will be a text version because they'll need to have it for blind people and whatnot, or deaf people who can't talk to the AI. They will always have this kind of page, right? And so you will always be able to scrape this in the way that I showed you, put it into word count or put it into word clouds after you cleaned it up, and then you will have free future-proof, safe technique to grab your keywords. Another thing you can do, a bonus, if you don't want to repeat yourself. Okay, Josh, but I need to write more, and I'm gonna have to keep mentioning this and mentioning these words. Should I keep mentioning this and repeating it? The answer is no. You do not want to be repetitive. Do not be repetitive. The SEO content of yesteryear, you might get away with it, but it's not going to do well. You do not want to be repetitive. So what I would do, fine, now I would just take this word and this word and this word and these concepts, and I would search ballet. So I'll show you how to do it. I'd search ballet synonym. You don't have to scream at Google. And then it starts giving you all the synonyms you need. You go, okay, look at this synonym. All right. You grab all these synonyms, and that's what you say instead of ballet. Or you pick the other types. Like classical ballet is the other type. You start looking for types of ballet. Oh, I just remembered something I should have told you that would have been really important. You can maybe even grab the Wikipedia page for other categories and entities. We have special ways of using this in Underground SEO University. So I can't, there's more I want to tell you, but I can't. They're just so good. I'll just leave it at that. You can use Wikipedia and Google for the synonyms to find out what else it's called. You can say, what is an adult synonym? Well, grown up, man, full grown. That's kind of sexist, isn't it? It's grown up, fully grown, full blown grown up, mature, mature. You could think of all these mature person. You could think of all these synonyms for adult and say that instead of saying the word adult again and again and again. This class is for mature adults. You can start adding in those synonyms that will give you the word replacements that'll give you your neural matching score. That'll boost you there, right? And you don't want to be too crazy. Don't think about stuffing in keywords. Just think about these main ideas that are being presented here and how you can write sentences on them. And then you should not be repetitive, and don't stuff keywords. Try to have the top para only relevant and with some keywords. Write naturally. That's the best advice I can give you without you joining SEO University and calculating your proper Goldilocks zone. There is a Goldilocks zone. There's a mathematical ratio you need to hit that we've discovered through science, that if you go above it, you will be demoted. And so some pages have boat anchors on them because they've gone over optimization, and they have to buy more links at that point, or other things that cost money and cost risk, and they're hurting themselves. They're making it harder to rank. The more keywords they add, the worse they do. And they're like, I don't know why this is, because they're over optimized. They're not being repetitive. They're not writing naturally. They have stuffed keywords. You don't want to do that. You want to say one keyword per sentence or tag spot. That is it. That's it. That's my best advice I can give to you, so as not to be over optimized. Even though that's just a rule of thumb, there is an actual formula for it. When you join SEO University, you will learn it. Now, you might be like, okay, well, Josh, I'm still not sure which words to use. I've done this, and I'm still not sure which words I want to use. How is there any more way that we can tell what keywords are best to use? Well, yeah, there is. Well, for you, what we could do is a top 10 to a bottom 100 comparison is what we will do. So this is my next SEO bonus. The final step of this process, if you want to do this process, you don't have to do what I'm about to show you, but you can if you're still not sure which words to use, or if you want to get a better idea, which keywords are good to use. So what you want to do is you want to input into the Excel sheets as normal, but I want to check the percentage of the top 100 words versus the top 10 words. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and I'm going to grab the top 10, and I would do the URLs as also, but I'm just going to grab these for now just to make it easy. And I'm going to go to convert case, paste these in lowercase. These are just the top 10. Okay. Now I'm going to clear out all the special characters. All right, Control A, Control C. Now I'm going to go to word clouds and paste this, apply. There we go. Okay. So here we have just the top 10 keywords. Okay. So I'll grab this. I'll take this. And this is just the top 10 keywords that Google has curated for us. Now what I will do is I'll go back to here and I will take the rest of the collection. Page 2 to page 30. I'll take these guys and now I'll go back to convert case. Lowercase, Control A, Control C. And go to word clouds here. I will type this in, apply. I could do more cleaning if I want to, but this probably will be fine. And I will go to word list, and now I will compare this. So I'll take this guy down to about here is fine. And now I will compare this guy to this guy, right? So now we got the top 20 to 300 or so. The bottom, AKA the losers, or the ones that are not doing as well at the moment. I'll delete that. I will delete this to make it easier to see. Shift cells up. I'll get rid of all those. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do the same percentages that we calculated before, right? So I'm going to say equals this to this. But I'm going to put a $sign here so I can drag it down. I'm going to drag this guy down. Okay. And now I'm going to say format cells just to make this easy as a percentage no decimal places. Okay, thanks. Now I'm going to take this and make the same formula. This divided by this, except I'm going to put a $sign here. And now I'm going to drag this down. I got more keywords here. And I will format cells. I'll do the percentage. Okay. So now, I still got decimal places here. Format cells, percentage, no decimal places. Okay. So now look at this. Okay. So now we can see what's more important on the top 10, because what is higher on the top 10 means that it should push you to the top. Statistically, it seems pushing you to the top to rank higher, right? So ballet is still important to say. Obviously, it is the main entity, clearly the main idea, the main concept that the user is looking for. But look, adult here is higher than here. So we can see that adult here is 63%, but here is 57%. That means it's higher. It's more important to use this on the page. Classes is 37, this is 45. Classes are not as important, apparently, according to this. Adults is 30%, adults is 20%, 23%. This gives us extra little hints as to stuff that might be more important to mention. Characters, we don't even know what that is, just delete that. Text, that's probably just a mistake. Experience, probably another mistake. No, it wasn't. Experience was down here, 4%, but experience here is 22%. Interesting. So sometimes this will help you, give you ideas of keywords you might want to use. Remove, not going to help. Dance, 15%. Dance, 28%. You want to say dance less, right? Than they normally would say. So I would corroborate this information with the information from here. So although the previous table that we looked at, the previous method was very clear as to what you should be doing, what keywords you should be using, what entity is obviously important. It was the adult ballet classes. But this extra method, if you are unclear, if the previous method is unclear, and if you are unsure what aspect or secret keywords might be at play here, this is what the numbers are going to tell you a story. And the numbers are telling this story. It's saying in the top 2,300, dance is slightly less here. Dance is used more at 28% as compared to 15%. So that means that said more on the losers, you want to say dance less. And experience is down here. It said 4% for the losers, and it said more for the winners. So what you want to do here is you want to talk more about the experience of the adult ballet classes is what you want to talk about, the experience of the adult ballet classes, and talk about dance a little bit less than that. Because dance is high here because you're getting vague results as they start to pan out into crap pages and just basic definitional pages. That's why dance is higher here. Also notice that ballet for adults, this is higher. 30% here for adults than 23% here. That is a little bit of a sneaky indication that although the new concept and entity is important and they are translating searches of ABC into XYZ, or in this case, they're translating ballet for adults and they're scoring on adult ballet classes, sometimes even higher than the original EMQ in some tests. The EMQ here, it's saying the word adults, however unimportant it was in the previous search, is still a little bit important. Adults is 30% here said on the winners, and ballet for adults is a phrase that would increase, would act in increasing that. But look, it said adults is said less here. It said 23% of the time in the top 2,300. The previous method is more what I would go off of. When these numbers 30% to 23% are pretty close to each other, that's only anecdotal evidence that I can draw from this. Join SEO University and we have much more precise methods that tell you exactly what's going on. But this method, this secondary method, if you are in doubt from the first method, is still useful. And it tells you the story. I should say, I should be talking about the experience of adult ballet classes. So I would start off something like looking for ballet for adults, ? Our adult ballet classes are for mature learners. We'll take you through the experience of learning dance. Something like that. That's how you would move some of these keywords up or down, and you would prioritize some of these ideas based on the ideas that they're talking about here that are apparently losing, statistically speaking, and the ideas that are apparently winning here because they're higher up in the top 10. But this might give you some extra hint as to what trends towards the top 10 if it has a higher percentage. That's interesting. It'll be a little bit higher in that regard. And also it'll be a little bit higher in these rankings here. You just have to make sure that you don't put in the gibberish that I pulled in here by accident. I probably did a full Control-A, Control-C and wasn't very careful of what I pasted in. But again, you only need to do this extra process to see what's trending to the top 10. If this is not making clear enough sense to you, and this is making very clear sense as to what keywords are important here. And Google told it to you. Google gave you the free, future-proof, curated keywords that you want to use for the future. So this curated keyword list from Google is maximally important. It will really help you. This free technique is future-proof. And like I said, it's going to rank you, I'd say about 70% of the time, roughly on 70% of the queries. Especially the more long-tail queries, the less competitive queries. This will have the extra mileage, I think, to get you to page 1, where then you can do all the other techniques that you might need to do. Heck, it could give you spot number 1 in some cases. It could give you spot 1 to 5 in many, many cases, especially in other languages than English that are not as competitive, and especially in low competition SERPs. Remember that better on page means saving money on off page. The better you're on page, the less you need an off page signal. The higher your on page score, the less you need to pay for off page. You want to see the proof? Go to bit.ly/SEO proof or go to this Dropbox. All this does is link to the Dropbox. So bit.ly/SEO proof is not working. To see all the proof of our rankings, just go to this Dropbox, which I'll share as well. And to see what we do here in SEO University. And as I said, don't take my word for it. Watch these testimonials from my actual students who you can actually talk to when you join the group. Want to rank more? How about 99% of the time? Join SEO University and I'll show you the following steps that come after this free video to rank in the really tough niches and to make the real money. Don't take my word for it. Listen to my students and they'll tell you how good SEO University is.
My name is Ryan Mazes and I am the owner and operator of Amazing Rankings SEO. I started my SEO journey about 6 years ago, and that first step was joining Josh's SEO mentorship group. You see, I had a small business when I was in my early 20s, and I had to start getting rankings to get business to come through, and I couldn't figure out quite how to make things work. And one day I was stumbling across a YouTube video and I found Josh, and he offered this mentorship group. Well, I joined the group, and I have to say the only regret I have is not joining it sooner. The biggest thing that I really liked about Josh's group was that it didn't just give me a set of instructions and say, try this. It wasn't just a group that I would join for them to try and resell me other things. Josh's group truly is about researching Google and trying to find the latest and greatest tactics to get sites rank. Or with this skill set, you can go out and create products and make relationships with people to have the best SEO tactics that you can offer. I now am proud to say I have an agency that is on its way to do 6 figures, almost 7 figures, if I play my cards right. And I couldn't have done it with not only the tactics and knowledge that I got from Josh's group, but the network of other SEOs I get to work with. I have gotten job offers, I've gotten, contracts, I work with some people in the group, and it's a really great way to immerse yourself in a community of like-minded individuals. I'm happy to say that I cleared my financial goals that I was working towards, and now for me the stars are the limit. And I couldn't have done it without the help of the group to teach me to think critically about SEO and not just take me fishing, but teach me how to fish. If you join Josh's group, you'll hear him say that a couple times. So if you're thinking about joining and you want to learn how to do upper level SEO and have the best knowledge base, I highly recommend joining the mentorship group with Josh.
Hello, my name is Sean Hodson, and I just wanted to do a quick shout out for the SEO University. It has completely changed the way I do SEO. I've been doing SEO since about 2012 on a full-time basis, and I knew AI was going to start playing a big part in the future, and that I better start, we all as SEO guys, always try to keep up with the latest and greatest. So I knew I needed to start learning this stuff for the future. And holy cow, has it completely changed the way I think about doing SEO. And the results are amazing, and it's amazingly easy once you understand the full formula. No waiting 2 months to get results on a change that you do on your website. We're able to make changes and see results in 3 to 4 days. It's quite incredible. So I would highly suggest to give it a try. You have nothing to lose. There's some really good people in here. Everybody's willing to help, and a lot of great information. So yeah, hey, give it a try, and hope to see you in there. Cheers.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Josh's SEO University group. I've been in the group now just under 3 years, I believe it is. But I've used this group to help me learn a lot of things that I didn't know about in the past. So I've been doing SEO for about 20 years, and I got to a point where I just couldn't figure out certain things and why tactics that had been working weren't working anymore. So I went and I found the group, and I've learned things in here that I've never even thought to test in the past. And the precision that we've been able to come to through the years to knowing when things are going to help and when things are not has been a real big help for me. And especially on the types of sites that I work on e-commerce sites, and I've worked on a lot of pretty big sites, helping them launch their SEO campaigns from the start. So for me, this has been definitely a game changer for me. And it's also helped me do side work when I needed it. And I've been able to get clients that I've worked through and had glowing reviews from them. So if anyone's thinking about joining the group and they're just not sure, I'd say go for it. It's the best group that I've ever been in for SEO.
Hi, I'm George with George Digital. I've been with Josh's underground SEO group for years now, and it's really been invaluable. Because of all the tests that he runs, I'm able to save so much money, basically just piggybacking off of him. It's really wonderful.
Hey guys, my name is Eric. I've been a member of Josh's SEO University for quite a while now, and I want to make this video to let you guys know if you guys want to understand how the world's greatest search engine works, Google.com, if you guys want to know the ins and the outs of the algorithm and how the AI picks and chooses brands and websites and sends them straight to the top of the SERPs, you guys have to join Josh's SEO University today. We've done extensive testing and research, all backed by scientific method, and we've literally unfolded the AI. We've been able to exploit this research, and you can do the same just by joining and following our recommendations. So if you guys are on the fence, and if you guys are wondering whether or not to join, you guys take the leap. You'll understand once you see the research we've done, you'll understand why this SEO group is not like the other SEO groups out there. There's no guesswork, no guessing. We've taken the AI and we've literally unpacked it. So please, you gotta join. You gotta check it out. I'll see you in the group.
Hey, it's Kyle Gustin here from Gustin Quan, and today I'm going to talk about how Josh's SEO group, Josh Bashinsky's SEO group, has really changed how we do business and had a really big impact on Gustin Quan as an organization. Especially a couple years ago when I first found his mentoring program. So to take you back, in 2018, I'd been doing SEO for about 7 or 8 years at that point, but it just became more and more just hard to do, and all the tactics I was employing just started getting less effective as time went on. All my PBN networks were just getting shut down. Stuff that used to work in the past, a lot of outsourcing, gimmicks and tactics just didn't have the same kind of effect as they used to have. And this had a really negative impact on my business personally. I know at one point, in 2016 through 2017, we were up probably doing over $100,000 a month in SEO billables alone. And by the time 2018 going into 2019 came around, we were down to about 20, 30,000. That from 100,000 down to 20 or 30,000-ish, somewhere in there. And then I found Josh's group because I needed to get this handled again. Obviously, I was missing something. All the fake gurus out there in internet marketing land were obviously not telling me the real truth about how to actually work the algorithm. And for some reason, I saw a video for his mentoring group, and I'm just like, you know what? This guy really knows. He just seems like he knows his stuff. I'm going to give him a shot. And sure enough, the way he breaks it down with the scientific SEO method, the multivariate indexes, and some of the other concepts that he goes through, just the way he thinks about it, he really understands the shit. He knows what goes into the algorithm. He knows how to break it down. He can measure all the factors, and above all, he can teach you how to actually do it, which was the big piece for me. So when I came on board, I started saving a whole bunch of my SEO clients that were about to drop me. I had a lot of lawyers based out of big cities that were losing their rankings. Went in there, started recovering all of those, saved a bunch of clients, and then I think within that year of 2019, we went from the 20, 30,000 of diminishing SEO clients that we had back up to well over 100,000 again. So Josh has been unbelievably valuable, completely changed our business, completely changed our lives. I have my staff hiring now from Josh's group, and they're in there, they're taking notes, they're hiring people. Josh is a buddy of mine, and honestly, if I were to give you advice, if you're in the SEO space, learn from Josh Brzezinski, all right? And that's pretty much it. He's the guy.
And I have some special SEO discounts for you. If you join SEO University now, I will give you a number of different discounts. Let me show you. I'll take your per monthly fee from $300 a month to only $244 perpetual per month. That will save you $552 per year, or basically you get 2 free months per year. You can get rid of all your SEO tools you don't need. I will save you thousands per month in SEO tools that you don't need and in SEO tactics that don't work. Do only the tactics that help. And also, you don't have to do a lot of the testing yourself. I can do the testing for you. That'll free you time to do more SEO. Also, in the second month, just because it's SEO-mas, pew, 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 pew. That's my laser guns going off because it's SEO-mas. Pew, 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 pew. In the second month, I will give you free on-page. That's right. In your second month, I will give you one page of on-page free to show you how to use our advanced methods that go beyond what I showed you in the video. And don't forget, we have other special tools, tricks, and tips that will really boost your SEO. Can't afford $244 per month? This is your future. This is your living. People pay $50,000 to $80,000 for their future or living. $244 per month is nothing. Our group makes over 0.5 million USD per year easy. We probably clear $1 million USD per year for everyone that's in this group. We are the elite science-based SEO group. Do what you need to do. Get serious. Get in the group. AI will only continue to get more complicated. Get science on your side or give up and get some other job, because SEO is not going to get any easier in the future. So I want to really tell you to join SEO University today. Email me, joshbrzezinski@gmail.com with yes in the subject line. And good luck in the SERPs, and we'll see you in the group.